Hi everyone, Namaste. This is Jananjali Kochar. Welcome back to my channel Took Wings Blog by Jananjali Kochar. तो आज हमारा जैसे कि वेडिंग पॉडकास्ट का सीरीज चल रहा है तो आज का जो पॉडकास्ट था ना वैसे इट वाज सपोज टू बी अराउंड the anxieties, the pre-wedding anxieties and the groom anxieties, but it happened to be a so spiritual and a simple conversation. Of course, our guest today was really special. Our podcast was with Mr. Aushim Khetarpal ji. आप लोगों को जरूर याद होगा अगर आपने साईं बाबा का शो, साईं बाबा का सीरियल जो आता था जी पे भी अभी भी है एंड सोनी पे आता था, तो वो अगर आपने देखा होगा तो यू वुड रिमेम्बर हिम फॉर बीइंग द प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूसर एज वेल एज द एक्टर इन द शो, है ना. सो it was such a great conversation and the questions I had were really complex, but the answers were so simple and the solutions were so simple. And I was like, I mean, this is going to help everyone out there who is either going to get married or, even if you're not going to get married any sooner, then you should listen to this podcast. You should watch this conversation just for yourself because you are definitely going to heal, because I healed up after this conversation and you are definitely going to do that as well. So just watch it. Hi, Oshimji. Welcome to Kahaniya by Took Wings blog. How are you?
How are you? How are you? Good to be with you.
Same here.
Absolutely on a different topic.
It's a pleasure to have you here today. And, today we are going to talk about, of course, this podcast is a part of my wedding podcast series that is going to release in October itself. And, we are going to talk about a lot about pre-wedding anxieties. And I think when people talk about pre-wedding anxieties, mostly they talk about bridal anxieties, right? Nobody considers that even grooms to be also goes through anxieties and what are the feelings they are going through. But we are going to ask you a lot of questions around that. But before that, at Took Wings, we have a tradition in our podcast that we start our podcast with one story that you would like to share with everyone, one story that defines you.
Everything about me is all written in the public domain. I mean, but so you want to talk about anxiety? You want me to talk about anxiety, or you want me to talk about what do you want me to talk about specifically?
Anyone story, anyone, maybe you can talk about your how did you start your spiritual journey, and we can take it from there, of course.
Well, there is nothing known as a spiritual journey. It is only that, when you are in a problem, that's the time when you go in search of God, or you go in search of some divine force which takes you to a different planet. And the fact was that because there's so much happened in my life, and it still happens, but then you learn to be patient and you start believing in the energies of God. And those are the energies. You may call it Krishna, you may call it Sai Ram, you may call it Ram, you may call it Shiva. Those energies are the same. It's like, Dronacharya taught Arjun how to be a good warrior. But there were other students also. Why did Arjun become the best warrior? Because he imbibed all the qualities of his coach. So a master is very important in life. And I was very fortunate that I didn't have a human master. When my transition was happening, it was happening with such a big controversy across the globe and things like that. I had no master. So I was ignorant. How will I get out of this? But there was some light inside which said, I will take you out of it. Now, that light is, if you want to believe in it, it is 1%. If you don't believe in it, it's a non-entity.
Right.
I had no option but to believe in it because other roads were all closed. And when they were closed, I believed in this light, and the light started showing me the path. After some time, that path started coming into a train, and I sat on the train, which is the train of divine.
Hmm.
And then the so-called miracles happened. I won my case. I had a lot of miracles happening, a lot of miracles which happened. And I started believing in them. And when those miracles were happening, it was something which was so extraordinary. And you make a film. I wanted to make a film of just to exhibit Baba in a
Hmm.
manner that no one else would. Because for me, my life was only about the miracles that I saw, because there's so many miracles happening that I just wanted to tell the public here, here is one master. If you believe in him, and there were not too many people in Shady at that time, 500, 1,000.
Hmm.
But that film,
Hmm.
it was made by him. There were 160 artists. And to get 160 artists when you're not a filmmaker
Hmm.
is not a joke.
Right.
And they performed, and that film became an all-time epic.
Hmm.
Not because it became an all-time epic that touched the hearts of millions of people, it still touches. And that film changed Shirdi forever.
Hmm.
People started believing in people started believing in Shirdi. They started believing. They started experiencing. So it was just that I was probably the chosen one to do this. And then the serial happened. Now, what between the channels, because serial was coming on Z and the film was on Star, because of the competition and because Sai Baba the film became a hit.
Hmm.
Yes, he was playing it 2 times a week, and here was Star playing it. So both of them started. With when you have two top channels coming and competing with each other on a similar program,
Hmm.
that changed the whole because people were just seeing Sai Baba, Sai Baba, Sai Baba on television. And when you were young, you must have seen the program and must have got attracted to it. And so the millions of people who come today, Aushimji, we've seen you like this and how you changed, and we're so enamored by your life and things like that. All this is very fine. That comes in later. But if you're not a winner, no one comes to you.
Hmm. No, I
No
completely
one
agree.
comes to you.
Hmm.
So luckily, I came out of major issues. When I came out of those issues, people saw that, there was people, my peers, all the corporate heads of today, entertainment companies and all, they're all my peers. So they came out and things happened, miracles started happening with them. Shady was bustling. And people just, how I started writing books, how I got that gyan, it's not explainable any longer. And but yes, if I come to think of it, make 3,000 hours of television software, write 65 books, visit 1,700 towns just to do prachar of Sai Baba, 360, sorry, 1,700 villages, 360 towns. And the best is that, the voice of Shirdi, which has the daily arti,
Hmm.
is the voice Baba chose that it happens to be my voice. I mean, I don't deserve all these things. I'll be very honest.
Hmm.
But वो कहते हैं चमत्कार कोई नमस्कार है. I continue doing my work
Hmm.
from 4 in the morning till 12 at night. I
Hmm.
try healing people. I try talking to them, healing them
Hmm.
on any subject. And this is what my master gave me. So I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. And I moved out of Maya and I moved out of, it's not spiritual, but it is something work that I tell people do this. And my life is only dedicated to that.
Hmm. Hmm. Amazing. No, I got goosebumps in between, when you were telling me your story. That's wonderful story, I would say. And yes, if you are a healer, then I mean, we are talking to the right expert for our topic today. That is about.
But the irony is that there was a meta search just now because I'm starting my world tour now. the Nike Mahima with Aushim Khetarpal World Tour.
Hmm.
And there's a meta search which came from America, because the Americans, when they do something, they call you, they do a whole research in you, and you won't believe the kind of response is absolutely mind blowing.
Hmm.
And they did a research and they sent it in their flyers over there. That research says that today India has 55 crore people who follow Sai Baba.
Hmm.
In the world, there are about 90 crore people who follow Sai Baba.
Hmm.
And more than that, the research says that the people who are appreciative of the work of Aushim Khetarpal is 90% appreciate that. And 70% of this populace love Aushim Khetarpal.
Hmm.
Now, when I see this, and I touched my hand and I said, listen, I continue doing the same work. I heal people. I love doing it. I want to see a smile on everyone's face. And when you see those kind of figures, and I live a life of a normal person, fakir, and I don't wear any chogas and I don't do all this. And when you see that many people love you across the world, you feel very humble and you feel, I don't deserve this. And honestly, I don't deserve it, but I continue working 20 hours just to heal people, talk to them. What happens is you got a problem in life and you got nowhere to go. You can't talk to your parents, you can't talk to your husband.
Hmm.
Then you need someone to talk to and who can give you direction.
Hmm.
So he's just put me in that eminent space that, they can talk to, they feel comfortable, they feel he doesn't wear a choga, he talks in English, he talks the language we like to understand. It's simple, practical, simple knowledge,
Hmm.
which I got from my master, and I just do that. And people just get healed.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
nothing to do with me. It's the right lines provided to the people at the right time.
Hmm.
And that just is grace.
I think we all deserve you. I mean, you believe that, I mean, you don't deserve this life, but we all deserve to be healed and, to be spoken to.
Yes, I really appreciate that.
Great. So, getting into the topic of today's podcast, that is about pre-wedding anxieties. And as I earlier also mentioned, that when we talk about pre-wedding anxieties, most of the times we talk about, the anxieties that brides go through. But we forget talking about the anxieties or the pressure or the feelings of or the emotions that a groom to be might also go through, right? So we first of all, let's understand what kind of anxieties, do you have any stories to share here, that you have seen any grooms to be getting to any anxieties? What kind of anxieties have you seen there?
I've seen a lot of anxieties, and I tell people this is
Mm.
one of the biggest savers that I propagate is
Mm.
that at every wedding called kinders,
Mm.
whenever you give service to the kinders with a smile, that house will never have a divorce.
Mm.
Whenever you do and just throw money at them,
Mm.
that house will always be built with pressure,
Mm.
and that house will break, that marriage will break. Try it out anytime.
Mm.
They are the biggest blessings God has given them, the
Mm.
kinders. So always have them at your wedding, and as a husband wife, treat them well, treat them for coffee, for lunch or dinner, whatever you
Mm.
make them feel, and give them good presents.
Mm.
The kind of blessings that they can give you, no one else can. One. Secondly, it is very important that your bride,
Mm.
should empower his wife. If he does not empower his wife, he is not man enough, because he's just thinking himself. Empower your wife. Tell her 1 year, just do nothing for 1 year.
Mm.
Just for 1 year, be with me, understand me.
Mm.
And 1 year later, take charge of a career you want to make.
Mm.
And just tell her, I am standing behind you. I will do anything to make you make a career. If you can just tell these two things, she will never leave you. And you do it dedicatedly. There'll be, but she'll understand he's done it dedicatedly. You will never, that marriage will not break, because it's on a bond where you're saying you're empowering your wife. Because what is she giving you? She is giving you a child. She is bringing another life into your house. That is the utmost thing. Now, when she's doing that, she is going through various emotions. But if you empower her, that kind of child will be beautiful. Because the third thing important, the child should not be born out of lust. You should not look at your wife as a sex object. Look at her as someone you can love, not by lust, but by love. Because any child born out of love will always treat their parents good. But if you're born out of lust, there are bound to be problems. A simple example to this is Mahabharata. The Pandavas were born out of 5 different energies. Indra, Karan was born out of sun. No, Ganges. Now, here, Kauravas were born out of one flesh, which was broken and put in 100 pots. And then the puja took place, oil was put in it, puja took place, and all of them were given life. It's like when you have artificial birth, your energies of a pure and artificial birth are always different. That is why their thinking was so negative. Pandavas, in spite of losing everything, thinking was always positive. And having Krishna there was even better, because he would make them more positive. But because they were artificial limbs, that's why their thought process was negative. So in a marriage, a groom does not need to be overpowered by his wife. He should know how to say, I love you at the right time. He should, and the same thing he should expect. And from the beginning of their life, she should also be expressive to him, saying, the words, it's not, why the Americans and Britishers used to say, I love you twice a day to each other. Because even if you don't mean it, after 1 year, it becomes a reality.
Right.
And you start following it. It's like saying, Ram, Mara, 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 Mara. You keep on saying Ram, Ram. So the same thing is here. So if you say that, small touches of act, touch her cheeks, be with her, talk to her, just give her that 1 minute, that's good enough. And empower her. We've all made mistakes in our life. Everyone's made mistakes in our life. But if from our learnings, you cannot teach the younger generation, we have not given any knowledge to the younger generation.
Right. So let's say for someone who is going to get married in a couple of months, because we are right now, let's say in October, and a wedding season is going to start.
Yeah.
And for a groom to be, I think it's very normal to maybe feel a little bit of that nervousness or that jitters, that life is completely going to change. This now the change is more prominent for brides because their life of course changes, but it is also there for grooms to be as well. So how to deal with that, thought or that nervousness that their life is definitely going to change?
Their life is not going to change if they think their life is going to change, behave your normal self. Don't put on an act. Behave your normal self. That's it. Be normal and just accept the fact that now you have someone you look up to, you have to live the rest of your life with
Hmm.
and make it work.
Hmm. Right. So, for example, if there are any kind of physical signs of anxieties or nervousness a person is feeling right before the wedding, so what would you suggest them?
Well, I don't suggest that he go to a psychiatrist or physician or something. No, I don't suggest that. I just suggest that he picks up the Gita,
Hmm.
start reading the Gita
Hmm.
or the Ramayana
Hmm.
or the Sai Satcharitra, or start chanting the Hanuman Chalisa.
Hmm.
You will see him good.
Hmm.
You will see him work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, of course. So, I mean, the points you mentioned earlier were definitely that should be taken care of. Like, you should always, you know, keep that love intact and always make your wife empowered and secure. But the thing is that, what do you expect from, your life then? As a man, maybe like there are things that are.
Man is born.
Hmm.
He wants only love.
Hmm.
If a man is born, if you marry for the reason of money,
Hmm.
then you're on a wrong track. It's not going to work. If you're marrying for companionship, see, today is good. Today, women also
Hmm.
are taking marriage just as a money making thing. A lot of them.
Hmm.
They think 2 साल शादी करेंगे 3 साल divorce होगा पैसा आएगा and we'll enjoy ourselves. But look at those women who've done that in their life for a wrong reason. At the age of 50, they may have that little money which is there with them, but they're all alone. They don't have a companion.
Hmm.
And those women, for their wrong karmas, are suffering very, very badly. Because
Hmm.
remember, there is always someone bigger than you who can destroy you.
Hmm.
Correct? And they are suffering with their karmas.
Hmm.
They have children who they cannot control.
Hmm.
They're alone. A lot of children have the money that she's got, she's burnt it.
Hmm.
She made wrong decisions. And that's how you lead. 90% of the lives are like that.
Hmm.
So you've got to select, I choose money, I choose companionship. Money is equally important, but do you choose this? That's what you have to select.
Hmm. I think talking to you, I realized that answers are really simple to that. You
Yeah.
just need to, I mean, believe that you are going to enter into a new life, or maybe it's just your normal self. Just be
Move
your.
from one house to the other and move with ease.
Hmm.
Just be your normal self.
Hmm. But then there are changes like you become a
Yeah.
part of another family. You
Yeah. So just be good to them. Just think she's my mother now.
hmm.
When you think you differentiate between your mother and your mother-in-law, just think she's my mother.
Hmm.
I've stayed with my mother for 25 years. The next 40 years, I have to stay here.
Hmm.
Right? She's my mother, so I have to take care of her. That's it.
And these days like we are more prone to living by ourselves and then living in a new environment, living with someone else, and then just start that sort of be in that environment you were not used to. So how do we
Yeah.
deal with
Yeah.
that?
So what happens is when you're leading a good life,
Hmm.
what is happening is when you get married, you're looking up to spending time in the evening with him, talking to him, making food for him. That is the time you've got to make sure that you're enjoying with him.
Hmm.
Now, he may be busy in his work after 100 days, he'll start getting the romance starts getting over. Busy in his work. You got to ensure, a woman's got to ensure that she is taking out time from him
Hmm.
and not feel up. He says, okay, if he's busy, fine. Don't force him. Don't cling on him.
Hmm.
Give him space and you take space.
Hmm. I think space is important, of course,
Yeah.
these days. I think that trend of just being together every time is maybe
Yeah.
fading a bit, right?
Claustrophobic. It's very claustrophobic. Yeah.
Right. So, if we talk about, the life that is going to be ahead. Now, if we talk about not just the wedding and the pre-wedding anxiety, but about the marriage, right? Now, there are a lot of cases that we hear about, as you also mentioned, that there are a lot of cases of breakups or divorces that happen. Now, when someone who is going to get married also thinks about these things, right? That this might happen with me as well, or you don't know what tunnel you are entering, and there is just something like there is a fear of unknown, right? So how do we deal with that?
Nothing. You have to be calm, have patience. This shall also not remain.
Hmm.
If there is no night, there is sun after that. The night will also go.
Hmm.
Now, this shall also pass.
Hmm.
Yes.
No, I think yes, of course. Everything happens for a reason, and everything passes as well. And in the beginning, when you were speaking about that belief that there is some light in everyone, each one of us, and then you just need to believe in that. And if someone believes that this marriage is going to work out, then I think that it should happen that way, right? Hmm.
It will. It will. If
Hmm.
there's a strong belief, and if your partner is wrong also, if you married the wrong person, you give him love. See, if you fight with him, it'll never happen.
Hmm.
But you give him so much of love that one day he gets up and say, "Oh, I don't get this love from outside.
Hmm.
I have to go back to my house." That day when he changes, he will not go anywhere.
Hmm.
Because the basic crisis that we're facing in marriages today is suspicion and not belief in each other. And third is men, women both are get to a stage where they don't remain faithful to each other,
Hmm.
to marriages. But what is happening is what is driving them like that is suspicion.
Hmm.
The suspicion, you have fights and you have, he says, to hell with this, I'm going after another woman. And then he goes, meets his Waterloo after 2 years, and he says the first one was better.
Hmm.
I'll give a simple phrase. A person told me this when I was addressing people. He says, when I fell with the love with my first person, first girl I loved, I was very happy.
Hmm.
And then the questioner asks him, he says, were you happy with the first one or the second one?
Hmm.
He says, I can't answer that. He says, I'll answer that.
Hmm.
What is the answer? He says, if you left the first one, that means you loved the second one more than the first one. So the
Hmm.
second one was better.
Hmm.
So going by that philosophy, if the
Hmm.
second one was better,
Hmm.
you've done mistakes in the first, which you only rectified in the second.
Right. I completely. Hmm.
And when you made mistakes, you don't want to reconcile with the fact your ego is standing up and you don't want to go back to the first.
Hmm.
So either the second one understands you, she knows the baggage that you're carrying, and she's so lovely with you
Hmm.
that you will not leave
Hmm.
her.
Hmm.
So that's why sometimes marriages, the first one is not a success, the second one becomes a big success.
Hmm.
The second one is carrying the baggage of his first one,
Hmm.
carrying his children and everyone, and she's being very, very diplomatic and good to them.
Hmm.
But if he has hatred for them, that marriage is never going to work.
Hmm. No, that's a very valid point, and the contrast you brought here is amazing. And when we talk about men specifically, I also see a lot of these questions or these phrases out there that it is not easy for men to, vent out or, cry or share their emotions. So, how do you suggest that should a man, feel comfortable to share their emotions as well?
Woman has to tell him to be more extrovert.
Hmm.
Two things you should do, I firmly believe, openly.
Hmm.
Say, I love you, openly.
Hmm.
And when you cry, you should cry fully. And when you laugh, you should laugh fully.
Hmm.
Because then everything's coming out. But
Hmm.
if you hide this, there is a problem.
Hmm. Right. So the solution is to cry fully, but
And,
hmm,
and smile fully.
and smile fully, of course.
What has God given? The best boon God has given.
Hmm.
The best boon God has given is, what is an orgasm? Orgasm is meeting of your minds, and you're both in sync with each other.
Hmm.
And that is the time you want to make love with each other. That is God.
Hmm.
That is the most pleasurable moment you enjoy in your life,
Hmm.
because both the partners are in sync mentally.
Hmm.
When they're sync mentally, they want to do only things for each other.
Hmm.
That is God.
Hmm.
So God has given that vardhan to these, but we don't want to take it.
Hmm.
That's it. If you are in sync, that is what marriage is all about.
Hmm. 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 I think the answers are really simple. I mean, it's just all about believing. It's all about love. It's all about, companionship and being in sync mentally and emotionally and just being there for each other. I mean, if I'll be honest, that even I'm going to get married in November, and I had a lot of questions, and I'm dropping all the questions to you, but then answers are so simple. I'm like, okay, this is. I mean, what you are saying is
All you
so
need to
simple,
do
and
is, all you need to do is every day of your life, 2 times, your husband's angry with you, not angry with you, just go and tell him, forget everything. I just love you. That's more important.
Mm.
By 2 years, he'll miss hearing those words. And then वो तुम्हारे पीछे पागल हो जाएगा. So you make him addictive
Hmm.
to the things, then he will start doing things for you. But you've got to take a first.
Hmm.
It's like God coming to you, and then he makes you run after him.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You think is life.
Hmm. Hmm.
You go to someone, and then he's the whole of your life after you.
Hmm.
Because the best words, the 3 words you can say to someone is, I love you. And
Hmm.
it's so simple. Why get embarrassed for what?
Hmm.
You've married that person for love.
Hmm.
Everything else will happen.
Hmm. 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 Just take the first step and
And keep on doing it religiously. Keep on doing your homework religiously. One day, he will be mad after you. And
Hmm.
when he's mad after you, his world belongs to that small house of yours.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's it. So you've done your act.
Hmm.
Give him so much of love that he cannot
Hmm.
think of anything else.
Hmm. Right, no, completely agreed to that. And do you want to share with us simple habits apart from, of course, one is very important that to say love, I love you to each other every day. But any other simple habits that couples should indulge in every day so as to keep that,
He
spark alive?
just ensure that he joins you in the house chores,
Hmm.
joins you.
Hmm.
Even if he doesn't want to, just give him a little bit of work so that he joins you.
Hmm.
It doesn't make a difference now, but 5 years down the line,
Hmm.
when you're gone and you leave for 20 days, 30 days to visit your house or gone, that is the time he misses everything.
Hmm.
and he realizes, I married her. She made my house into a home.
Hmm.
And that is what is.
Hmm.
Yep.
No, I think that's what I'm just repeating myself here. But talking to you feels like nothing is too hard. I mean, it's just I mean, it's just about love and companionship. And if you believe that you're going to make it, then you are going to make it with just doing simple things,
Yes.
right? Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So in general, what are your views on if let's not talk about marriage or weddings now. So what are your views on keeping a person's sanity apart there are a lot of things that we are doing as youth. I mean, like there is work, there is this pressure of having a family as well. There are a lot of things we are involving in and indulging ourselves and working hard day and night, but how to keep our sanity alive.
Nothing. Just live in the world of bliss. Be happy with what you have and keep on working and just be happy with what you have.
Hmm.
Over ambition is going to kill you,
Hmm.
is the first step to death.
Hmm. But then we have so many ambitions and so many milestones to
Follow your
clear.
ambition, follow your ambitions, but don't make it so deep that they kill the other part of you.
Hmm.
You can only try. The result is not in your hand.
Hmm.
So you try and don't give up and be a coward in life. Don't give up. No.
Hmm. Right. So you mentioned about, when you were telling us about your story. So you mentioned about your schedule as starting early as 4 a.m. and then working till 12 at the night. So
I,
how?
I, I do that on a daily basis because there's so many calls which are coming in every day. I tend to about 500, 600 calls a day all over the world.
Hmm.
Someone's got a problem, you've got to heal them, you've got to talk to them, give them rational sense. And I don't charge money. And
Okay.
they feel that, they are they're being answered. Half the battle is won when
Hmm.
the nurse is around you in the hospital,
Hmm.
taking care of you. So
Hmm.
I just act as a balm and I'm a good listener. I listen to them, keep on listening. So
Hmm.
half is already cured. And
Hmm.
then I try giving them solutions. What I get from Baba, I just talk to them.
Hmm.
And people they get healed, they come back, they get 10 people back. And I keep on talking. That's what my life is all about. I just heal.
Hmm. So, any particular stories of healing you would like to share? Of course, keeping on.
Many of them. So
Hmm.
many of them. It's all there in the serial on Z5 and it's there on the way. Z5 has the all 72 stories now.
Hmm.
Oh, thousands and thousands of them. Thousands of them.
Hmm.
And and I'm really blessed to be I just follow them. I tell them what they need to do, like I'm talking to you. So I'm talking to you like a friend. I'm just not talking to you as some authority or something. I'm talking to you. Listen,
Hmm.
you're getting married. You're
Hmm.
starting a new journey. Do these simple things.
Hmm.
What is there to say? I love you. When you are staying with a person, say I love you. When you
Hmm.
want to say no, why are you hiding it? अब
Hmm.
अगले जन्म में बोलोगे क्या उसको?
Hmm.
So, so what is there to feel shy? And कभी रोना है, हंसना है, do it with him.
नहीं, आई थिंक
Don't
बीच में कभी कभी ईगो आ जाता है दैट सामने वाले
यही
पर्सन शुड आल्सो से
यही तो प्रॉब्लम है. Ego is the biggest problem. आजकल लोग बोलते हैं अरे मैंने शिव की पूजा करी है, तुमने कहाँ से शिव की पूजा करी? शिव जी ने पूजा अपने हाथ में मुझे दी. Say this, the line is different. And
हम्म
second one is surrender, the first one is ahem.
हम्म
अगर शादी के बाद ही तुम्हें अहम दिखाना है तो मैं तुमसे बड़ा हूं, अरे कुछ नहीं होने वाला.
नहीं, आई थिंक दैट लाइफ टीचर्स अस कि कुछ नहीं रखा है. सबके साथ कुछ ना कुछ एग्जाम्पल ऐसे हो जाते हैं, इंसिडेंसेस लाइफ में, दैट इट टीचेस यू दैट कुछ नहीं रखा है, दैट जस्ट से जस्ट डू व्हाट यू वांट टू डू एट द मोमेंट, राइट?
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And actually, like, meko, I'll be honest, I had so many questions, but आपसे बात करके it feels like नहीं, मतलब okay, कुछ करना ही नहीं है. It's not like a big deal. कोई big
It's no
deal.
big deal.
Hmm.
It's no big deal.
Hmm.
From the time you into the house and mother father के साथ रहते हो तो बोलना भूल जाते ना. Oh
Hmm.
dad, good morning, I love you. नहीं
Hmm.
बोलना बंद करते.
Hmm.
But now at least move into a space where every day morning you get up and say I love you. I guarantee you after 15 days he'll make tea for you and come in the morning. Try that.
Yeah.
Try that. I guarantee you 15 days after your marriage, if you say every day morning, give him a peek on his cheek and say, I love you. 15th day, he'll get up and say, okay, आज वो 8 बजे तक सो रही है, मेरे को चाय बना के दे. Guarantee. That is
Definitely.
what love does. What
Hmm.
is love? Love is the emotions which are like water.
Hmm.
And the purest form of
Hmm.
living is water.
Hmm.
Because there's so much of water inside us. So
Hmm.
उसको balance हो गया, तो half your battle is won. You're mentally all
Hmm.
right.
Hmm. Hmm. No, definitely, मैं definitely try करूंगी ये advice that to keep saying it for certain amount of time and then see how it works. And I'll advise all the brides to be, grooms to be, to do that, to follow that, right?
Yeah.
So, any advice for people listening to us out there?
Don't do to others what you would not do to yourself.
Hmm.
Love thy neighbor, love yourself,
Hmm.
and believe in the energy of God.
Hmm.
When you believe in the energy of God, वो परमात्मा के अंदर ही स्वार्थ है.
Hmm.
So if you do work for humanity, you will be a good person, you will have empathy, and you will always love your family.
Hmm.
Very simple. The more you do seva, the
Hmm.
more empathetic you get, and more you will be towards your family.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much, Aushim ji. It was a wonderful conversation, and I think इस conversation से मैं heal कर गई हूँ बात करते करते. एक point के बाद it was not about a podcast, it was about healing myself as well. Thank you so much. You have a great energy.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be on the show. And stay blessed. And all I can say is wish you all the best for your marriage.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.